Friends, today I am now going to discuss whether the function f of x equals mod of x, means modulus x, this function will be continuous or not, or differentiable or not. We will check continuity and differentiability, whether it is continuous or differentiability, whether it is continuous or differentiable. We will check that. So let us examine this function. First of all, this is very interesting function, modulus of mod of x. Sorry, not modulus of x. F of x equals mod of x. So what do you mean by f of x equals mod of x? F of x equals mod of x means suppose f of x equal to x, it will be f of x equal to x for x greater than 0 and it will be minus of x for x less than 0. Yeah. So this is the basic definition of f of x equals mod of x, mathematical definition of f of x equals mod of x. So it will be x whenever x greater than 0 and minus x whenever x less than 0. Let us examine whether it is let us examine its continuity or discontinuity and its differentiability or not differentiability, whether it is differentiable or not. Let's examine that. Whenever you will draw this function, let's draw this function. Here it is a graph. Let's draw this. Here it is x, here it is f of x. Okay, f of x equals x when x greater than 0. So it is positive portion of x, it is negative portion of x. So f of x will be plus of x when x greater than 0. That means y equals x. That means it will be straight line going through origin. The behavior of this curve will be straight line going through origin. And at the x less than 0, it will be x, f of x means y of x, f of x means y equals minus of x. That means it will also be a straight line, but slope is m equals minus 1. It will also be a straight line, but slope is what? Here slope will be m equals minus 1. So how we will represent the graph for f of x equals minus x at x less than 0? So we can represent it in such a way. Yeah. So this is y equals x. This is y equals minus x. So here it is origin. So what we can interpret, like what we can interpret physically from this graph? We can interpret that it will be continuous at x equals 0 point. It is a continuous graph. See, you can easily draw it from one point to another point without picking up the pen. It is a continuous graph. So continuous means what? It is continuous. That means what? Continuous. Continuous means what? At x equals 0. Continuous means it may be or may not be differentiable. Yeah, it may be or may not be differentiable. What we have seen in the last video, that whenever a graph is continuous, whenever a continuity will exist, then differentiability may or may not be exist, because we are not fully sure whether if the function has continuity, then it will be differentiable 100% or not. But we can say that whenever it will be continuous, it may be or may not be differentiable. Yeah, that's the difference actually. So let's start a discussion whether it is continuous or another point or not, and then it will be not differentiable or not. So at x equals 0 point, we are fine with that it is continuous, so it may or may not be differentiable. But if I draw this graph for the point x equals 1, If we draw this graph for the point x equals 1, what we will get? We will get the graph in such a way that, let's draw this. First, f of x equals plus of 1 for x greater than 0. For x greater than 0. And equals minus of 1 for x less than 0. We will get such thing at x equals 1. So at x equals 1, the graphical representation will be such that f of x equals plus of 1 for x greater than 0. F of x equals plus of 1 for x greater than 0. And it will be minus of 1. Here it is plus of 1. Here it is a minus 1. So f of x equals plus 1 at x greater than 0 and f of x equals minus of 1 at x less than 0. See now, whether it is continuous or discontinuous. So if we check its continuity, it is discontinuous by an amount of 1 minus minus 1 by an amount of 2. It is discontinuous graph. Here check its discontinuity is here. Here its discontinuity is here. So this is discontinuous. So it is discontinuous by an amount of 2. By an amount of 2. It is amount of discontinuity is 2 here. So we can say that f of x equals mod of x is not continuous at every point. It is continuous only at x equals 0 we are getting. At x equals 0 we are getting that it is continuous. So it may or may not be differentiable. So whenever a graph is discontinuous, so let's do it correctly. So this is x equals 0. This is at x equals 1. At x equals 1. It is continuous. So it may or may not be differentiable. But here it is discontinuous. So whenever a graph is discontinuous, whenever a graphical representation of curve is discontinuous, so it will not be differentiable. It will not be differentiable. So what we can conclude at last of the point, we can conclude that f of x equals mod of x is continuous at x equals 0 but discontinuous at x equals 1. So it may be continuous but not differentiable. Not differentiable at other point except not differentiable at other points except at x equals 0. Except at x equals 0. So thanks for today. That is it. So thank you for patiently watching my video. If there is any mistake in any point, you can correct me at comment box. So thanks for patiently watching. Bye.